Good morning, you too.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Doing fairly.
All right, very good.
This is the fourth floor, by the way.
Yeah, I know this is not the room I was suggesting.
Well, so I read your messages. As 1 second. So let me just clarify some things.
I saw it begin.
Okay, City Hall, where CG shot up the council.
Yep.
Second floor, judge chambers. I was a little confused, so I just came here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to see where you'd end up at, like telling you two different places.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know
Is
which
that-
one, which place stood out more in your mind, the place where CG shot everyone, or the second floor judge chambers. And you
Well,
came here,
it was your wording that made that one stand out more to me.
Well, I mean, regardless, the point is we're
You're
here.
sitting where TJ died.
Well, I hope someone comes in and shoots me next.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
I mean, it is, having the governor have you write a specific system and then just reversing it 4 months later is really fucking obnoxious. But
I don't
that
view
being
it as that.
aside,
Yeah.
that doesn't change the fact that we have to move forward from what was in the past. So, have you both had a chance to read the response from the state?
Absolutely.
I've read it 4 times.
Okay, very good. So we have a couple of options here. One, we can either pause that legislation until we can all come together with a new one to amend it. Or two, we could just kind of let it ride until we can figure out how we're going to be doing this amendment going forward. What sounds more preferable to you?
You know, I was thinking we could start with an injunction, followed by myself and Pred here coming up with a proposal which can be reviewed by the DOJ that places all legislative authorities on an even playing ground when it comes to procedure.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
I don't know. Okay.
Well, we
Yeah,
would.
so specifically it says, it is encouraged that all authorities immediately create a resolution to amend the legislation together for the people. So we're going to do that, all three of us together.
Absolutely.
that
And the
just-
way we arrive there,
Yeah, we can try.
exactly. The way that we arrive there can be at the end. Yes.
That's not happening.
But the process by which we do that, I mean, it's our prerogative.
Sure, and I'm not doing that.
You don't want to review our proposal?
I want to make the proposal with you, considering that this
Absolutely.
is legislation that
That's
we're
what
going
I
to
said.
be amending together.
Yes. So
That's not what you said. You said you wanted you two to write it, and then you could put it up to me as a quote-unquote
Well,
judge
to the
review it.
justices.
I'm not going to do that. We're going to write it together.
Well, what
All
we
right.
could do is just write it up, and then it could just go to you guys. You approve it, and then it just goes to the people to vote
Yeah.
on. If
And
they want
there's-
to contest it or not.
Exactly. And there's plenty of room to discuss. No one's
That's not
barring
gonna
you from
happen.
doing that.
Well, why not?
Because we're going to be in the room when the rules are written.
Of course. That's exactly what we're saying.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is
We're-
though. That's what we said.
It's not. You're saying you're going to write a proposal. You're going to give it to the DOJ and allow the DOJ to review it.
No. Yeah, I think you're misunderstanding. We fully expect that the room would have the justices as well as Dr. Nyanash. And that proposal would be our recommendation. Still open for dissemination, conversation, and alteration.
Yeah, I mean, the legislation passed in question is granting power unrightfully against the Constitution's vision.
I mean, you could say that all you want, but the governor signed off from it from the future or from the past. So just because they've
Yeah,
changed
but-
their mind now doesn't mean that it was bad at the time.
I'm not sure I am aware of the governor signing something and reneging. That's not my reading of this.
Okay, I mean, you weren't there when all this was done, so
I'm merely looking at the signatures.
sure. And interestingly enough, his signature's not even on this. So
Are you trying to say it's a fake document?
it could be.
Really? It's not fake.
Okay, well, where's his signature?
Oh.
Isn't his name state officials?
No. I mean, there's no letterhead. There's no seal. There's really nothing substantiating this to be an official
I
document.
see.
So
Well, hey, if you
the
want
only
to play
reason
with
that
that
I'm
file,
treating it as
by all
official is
means.
because I've received it from the states directly.
So what's the point you're trying to make?
Yeah.
The point is that you're trying to play word games here, and I'm telling you through my lived experience that I've quite clearly been in contact with these people. I'm aware of what the initial institutions were supposed to be, considering that I quite literally authored the document that you two try to quote to me constantly.
Which is our prerogative.
Sure, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm just saying I think it's a little bit silly for you to sit there and act like I'm just making shit up.
No
Well,
one's saying that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
So
just basing it off this official state notice.
Yeah.
okay, sure. So sure, going forward, yeah, that power granted is granted unrightfully. So how are we
Yeah.
gonna fix that?
Well, me and Nino had an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your idea?
Gotcha. So, basically, as outlined in this state notice, it does institute that the DOJ has uncontested authority over legal and judicial matters in San Andreas. And then it just goes down to say, to clarify, legal or judicial matter both arise from disputes in law as part of a judicial proceeding. So what me and Nino were going to do was we were going to do our jobs and legislate, and then if you have, a judicial discrepancy against what we make, then I guess you can contest it and it can go to the people to vote.
That's not gonna happen.
That's the process.
That's not the process.
Well, right now, there is no process.
Right, and this letter specifically has the governor or the state officials telling us to make a new one.
Which Pred has just proposed an example.
No, he's
Yeah, I
not.
just
He said
proposed
you two are gonna make a process. We're gonna put some notes on it and then let the people vote. I'm sorry, that's not the process. That's just some bastardized interpretation of whatever you think the process should be. There
Well,
is no
clearly
process.
you don't know what the process is because this is written to
one.
you.
There isn't one. It's not written to me. It's written to all of us.
I did legislate in the dead of night. I followed the process.
I followed the process too. How can you honestly, like, how can you sit here and find me at fault for using the power that was granted to me at the time?
Well, I don't think it ever was, to be honest,
It was
based on this document.
It was the initial 7 pieces of legislation were all signed off by the state before we even launched the Constitution.
Oh, so
that was with uncontested authority.
Agree.
Before we amended it.
I think we're in agreement with that. The primary concern here is these edits that followed it.
Which was part of the legislation, allowing justices to modify things at will, because we knew that things were going to be pretty fucky to start. We knew that things were going to need quick changes. We knew that things were going to need to be fixed, and that's what that clause was for. It allowed us
But
to.
I think that's just your interpretation.
It's not though, because that's how the discussion went.
Yeah, but
I mean, like, listen. You could not like that, and that's totally fine, right? You could not like that we had that power, and you could not like that we were able to do things that well. I don't disagree with you not liking that. I wouldn't like that either, honestly, if I was in your shoes. But you can't sit here and act like that power was just stolen under the nose of the states. It was intended like that at the start.
That's how it appears, though.
But it wasn't.
State officials seem to disagree.
Supposed to have a say.
That's not at all what they've said.
So we can use a very precise example. In the document that was contested, there is a edit made, I want to say a week and a half ago, in which it was added in. Now,
okay.
So by adding in that
document,
document,
whole, like, chain of discussion and voting with justices in their internal communications.
Right. And hence the contest. And this includes the 35 to 50 edits that were made afterwards. While there is some understanding that some of those edits early on, shortly after the Constitution was passed, there can be some understanding around that, why things need to be changed and whatnot. But, 4 months later, well, that's a different story. At that stage, it's clear.
And 4 months later, now the state's saying, hey, let's change it up. We got everything set up.
Well, the question that I have, right, is, so, Nino, you were talking about the FOIA legislation thing, right? That's what you're just talking about?
No, we are being specifically the DOJ procedure that was added about 2 weeks ago. I think it was the day that we were sworn in.
It was the day before.
Which one?
That was the judicial powers codified, I'm assuming, is what he's talking about?
No, it's the one that we're contesting.
Oh, okay, my bad.
The one that says San Andreas Department of Justice, and it's got a whole thing inside of it. Whole update to it. Let me see. Proposal. There we go.
Well, it's so should we talk about
October
the
20th.
FOIA October? Yeah, so that was the day before. Because I was in office on the 21st.
So, all right. So,
Okay. So is the state official not aware of the FOIA legislative changes either? This is based off the other thing that was contested.
yeah.
I don't think they give a shit, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't if they didn't give a shit. They wouldn't write this
If
letter.
they gave a shit, that they would have said something about it.
That's what the letter does.
The letter specifically is a response to an audit that was submitted by Nino Chavez.
Yeah.
I took the letter and I presented it to them for
Oh,
their
you mean
consideration.
the moron?
Yes, the moron.
Yeah. You know, it's your definition is pretty interesting given the outcome here, there, Angel.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can say that all you want, but at the end of the day, I wrote the Constitution and you just didn't. So,
Congratulations, and I audited it.
Yeah.
hey, congratulations. Proud of you.
Thank you very much.
You used the power that I granted you.
So it doesn't sound like you want to work with us. It's that you want us
I
to
do.
continue doing the things the way you
No.
want.
That's exactly what I'm
No,
hearing.
I do want to work with you, but you two are just sitting here ignoring any potential pretext that could allow us to move forward.
So,
No, we were offering forward and ideas.
let me
Right.
let me
And I told you I don't want to do that. So because you two wanted me to be your equal, you're going to treat me as an equal now, which means
Yeah.
that we're not going to go forward with that. We're going to come up with a solution that all three of us are okay with.
Well, if you're
Hold-
our
wait,
equal
wait.
and the two
Let-
of us decide to do something, then you just get outvoted by it.
Yeah.
It's not how that works.
We don't even have Dr. Naya here. Or the other justices.
Yeah, we don't have the other justices here either.
Okay. I mean, this isn't even really a formal hearing. I mean, this is us going to have to figure some shit out because we either fix this or we don't, and then the state's going to fix it for us.
I
There's no
think
rush.
you may be absolutely misunderstanding myself and Pred. We want everybody present. We want to work
that's
together
fine.
to ensure that we come to a agreement and a resolution so the state can move forward.
Sure.
So, we're in agreement then.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't know why you're changing what you want now after the fact.
I think it's more the interpretation of what you perceive we might be saying.
I'm literally interpreting the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Pred, are we in agreement with what we're saying?
Yeah, I feel like we're in agreement.
All right. So,
It's just I'm not really sure how. So let's roll things back a second. How do you interpret this official state notice then? Because me and Nino interpreted a completely different way than you do, by the sounds of the conversation that we had.
I interpret this to indicate that the Department of Justice, any legislative authority or any legislation that we would seek to pass would have to be done through a popular vote, and that the legislation that, like, the main bulk of legislation that we would be producing would be done through court hearings, so legislative audits, legislative contests, civil trials, criminal trials, stuff like that.
okay.
And me and Nino just want to follow that process where we legislate
Yeah.
it, and then you guys make spell check it or whatever you guys do in the DOJ, and then we
Yeah.
fucking it goes to vote. So that
Okay,
way
the DOJ
people...
doesn't spell check it.
Well,
Like,
in
you
a
guys
way.
just don't understand. Like, that's how it's supposed to work, but the process doesn't really dictate that. So you two.
That's why we get to make a new one.
You said I want to have everyone here, but now you two are saying we want to make this alone, and then we'll present it to you to just spell check it. Like, that's just absurd.
No, no,
How
no,
can you
no,
sit
no.
here and get upset with me for interpreting you saying that when you're quite literally
No.
saying that?
Let me break it down for you. We need everyone present and in agreement, right, to move forward with this process.
Correct.
Right? What was said at the very beginning is that my intent and the intent by Pred, having already spoken about this, is that I myself am going to go in and have and think about what would I like to have changed. I am then going to confer with my colleague so that we have some kind of common understanding. similar to how we fully expect that you are going to have a conversation with the other justices as to what you perceive the resolution should look like. And then when all parties come together, we take all of the work that we've done and say, hey, how do we find common ground and a common resolution? That is what we are saying.
Okay, but that's not what you said at first.
That is exactly what I said. Maybe I didn't word it well.
Okay, it's not at all what you said.
Maybe I didn't word it well.
You know, you said literally what Pred just
I
said.
feel like he
and now
did
you're
word it
changing
pretty
up.
well.
No, you didn't. You said you two were going to come up with something and then you'll present to the DOJ for consideration. That's literally what you said.
The room, not just the DOJ. Dr. Naya is not here either.
Maybe
I
that's
just
what
wanna
you
follow
intended,
the
but that's not what
process.
you communicated.
That is exactly what I intended.
Sure, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, fantastic. All right.
But in the meantime, since you're requesting an injunction, I need to know specifically what exactly you're requesting.
Yeah.
An injunction on you.
Okay. For why?
What do you mean for why?
For why?
It's obvious, right?
Is it?
I mean,
Yeah, you're mad with power, Angel. I mean, you change
Am I?
everything in the dead of night. You know,
Do I?
you know, you.
I'm sorry
You know,
that you've
you-
never read a Discord announcement in your life, Pred, but they get announced weekly in the DOJ announcements channel
Yeah, why would I read that?
because that's a statewide announcement that is persistent and lasts through storms.
mm,
Yeah, why would I bother reading that?
Because it details the changes that the Department of Justice is making that you so-called claim to be night changes.
Yeah.
So you just don't care about being informed?
I feel like I'm informed enough.
We clearly aren't, though. You're not reading the announcements.
I'm just reading
well,
the
apparently the
legislation that you're
Constitution
changing.
wasn't read either, you know, which is why we're all here. But here's in regards to an injunction, if one was to be made, it would be done so formally.
Okay.
But as to is there anything else we want to discuss? There's a lot of work to be done.
Anything else on your mind?
What,
We
for
could
me?
sit here and talk for a while if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be
I
open to
mean,
that.
Yeah, we could sit here and talk all we want. Frankly, I really have nothing better to do today, so
The FOIA. Still waiting on
sure.
that.
Well, I mean, I'm not the one that's handling your request. You'll need to go find the officer that is.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Can you handle my FOIAs?
No. There's plenty of
Why
other
not?
people that can take your FOIA requests.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you'll do a better job at it for me than they will.
I'm not going to do it.
All right.
Isn't it? You're right there. You're law enforcement there, Angel.
Yeah, you
Sure.
are law enforcement. Or are you wearing a different hat in here today?
If you submitted a request to someone, I'm not processing the request for you, Brad. I'm not doing that. Go talk to the person you submitted a request with.
Well, I would be, that person's you. I'd be submitting the request with you.
Okay, what's your request?
I would love to get every FOIA related to Kyle Pred, every incident, every report, everything that the state marshal's office has on me. And I would love to
Why?
have all that information. As I have a gigantic court case against me, and any and
Then
all
motion to
information.
compel them on the docket, and you can get those for free.
Why do I have to motion to compel on the docket?
Because they'll be obligated to provide them to you. The FOIA is not really a process for that. You would motion to compel it.
Uh,
Well, I mean, I'd rather just go to you for it.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that the correct process, if you're speaking out in records specifically with regards to your court case, would be to
Lawsuit?
compel the other
that
side
goes
to present
beyond
them to you
the
on the
case
docket.
on the docket.
Well, I don't know if you're really the best person for me to ask about the processes, doing that you know,
And why are you
didn't
asking
follow
me?
your own processes in the first
And why are
place.
you
That's
asking
why I
me?
was because I was just asking you to get me the document.
And I'm telling you to motion to compel on the docket.
If I'm not mistaken, Pred, you wanted it for reasons beyond just the court case. Am I correct in saying so?
Yes.
Okay, what are those reasons?
Um, God. Ugh. Where are the other justices?
Where they always are, in fucking bed.
I kind of feel Dr. Naya should be here.
Yeah, I wish Dr. Nye. I mean, I'd send her an email.
She's in ICU, Pred.
All right, well, I'll call someone over at the hospital. We can wheel her ass in here, I guess.
Or you're just gonna have her lay here with the body and all.
No, they can just wheel her in here on a wheelchair or something.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, man's my...
That's not how we're gonna do things.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Nothing stops us from just putting pen to paper and doing it that way anyway.
Yep. And getting a referendum. All right.
It's really sunny in here today.
It's pretty sunny in here almost all the time, actually.
All right.
Even when it's not?
Yeah, the only time it doesn't really shine in here is like late at night. Even then, there's still a little bit of glow.
Yeah, I'm not sure
right.
if you heard, but I gave my deputies their max pay for the weekend.
Proud of you.
Does
Yeah,
it
they were
max? Does
very
it stop
happy
at
about that.
3,500 or can you go higher than that?
Stops at 3,500, I believe. Lowest is 250, highest is 3,500.
All right. So,
They were very
where were
happy
we?
about that.
I don't remember honestly.
All right. So,
Well, I think we were going over a lot of things. We can just pick up where we think we left off.
Okay.
You know
which
what?
is-
I'll let you decide.
I really don't remember what we were talking about.
I
We were talking about so much.
think we were talking about. Well, so let's schedule a date for when we want to do this. What works for you, Angel?
I mean, pretty much any day works to me. It's not really me that's the issue here. It's gonna be getting the other justices and Naya here.
Okay. We can talk to Dr. Naya if you want to talk to the justices, and you know, set up a date.
I can
bring our
something out.
notes.
Usually, in the next like 3 hours, anytime after storm works well. So.
After storm. All right. I think tomorrow after storm. Maybe we pen that in.
You said
It's pretty short notice.
I don't think we can get
not.
Well,
I don't think we can get Dr. Nashville to show up though.
Oh yeah, she's in ICU, isn't she?
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Well,
Yeah, I actually believe that. I don't think you did do it.
okay. So how about this? We
That'll
pencil
show
it
her to
in.
not open my hospital.
We pencil it in, and by end of today, we see if we can get everyone. If we can't, we'll just reschedule.
I mean, I don't think it's proper to continue without Naya. She's in ICU.
She might, unless.
I mean,
I don't
you
know
were
if she's
making a big
out.
deal about having everyone here, so why? would
No,
you skip out on her now, you know?
I never said that. I said I'm unsure if she's still in ICU.
Okay, well,
Last I
we
heard
should
was 2
find
days
out.
ago.
Okay, well, do you want to take on the responsibility of finding out, and I will
Yeah.
reach out to the justices?
Yeah, I can do that. All right, easy. All right, Brad, you were talking about some things. You want to bring it up now or later?
Oh, I was just talking about like putting in my FOIA request.
Oh,
Okay, well, I'm
but
gonna need
Angel
right.
some
said-
good information before I can approve it.
Good information how?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've read the FOIA legislation, but the requirements have changed.
I've read it a few times, yeah, because you changed it.
Well, I didn't change it. Myself, Justice Hart, and Justice Hollow all concurred and agreed to change the legislation.
Did they
So
actually
all of you are
read
to
it?
blame.
They did, yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, unfortunately, we've been receiving a lot of FOIA requests that are putting undue burden on a lot of officers. People have been requesting all of their records for all time and eternity, and that's just not really what the system's intended for. So we had to curtail that abuse.
That's
We can take care of that. We can fix that.
Well, it's unfortunate it's being referred to as abuse because while I was an attorney, it was a pretty common practice.
Yeah, it was actually one of the worst parts about being an attorney, Angel, was you know, you had 72 hours, but a lot of times you wouldn't get stuff for multiple weeks. And it was I personally know that it only takes about 5 minutes to really to get that stuff. It's not even that difficult.
Of information, not freedom. I think the R might have been dropped with one of the edits.
It's possible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of edits.
Yeah.
So the ultimately though, you know, if you want like such a broad blanket request that's got such implications on what the officers are gonna have to do to get them for you, you're gonna have to meet those requirements.
Well, the requirements aren't listed. It just says
they are listed.
Well, so hold on, they're not though.
They are.
Well, I think she's referencing the fee and coming up with a reason for each, and then figuring out which department handled an incident that you may or may not even know of. But I mean that's all something that can be succinctly put into a document when we're ready.
Yeah, so it says requests must clearly describe the records being sought. How does a man in my position know how to describe the records that are being sought, but they're pertinent to my investigation?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Are you saying that you don't know how to put in a request for information?
No, I know how to put in the request. I just don't know what the invisible bar that has to be met for the information that I have to put forth on stuff that I'm not aware of.
What information are you seeking?
Well, that's the issue. I don't 100% know all the information that I'm seeking because I don't know everything that the individuals have on my case. This system allows for stuff to slip through the cracks.
This is a legal concept that is not related to FOIA, and I feel like if you had a better attorney, they would explain this to you, that if the prosecution is withholding evidence from you, and you motion to have them provide that to you, and they refuse to do so, then you could get the whole thing thrown out.
How would
but who's going to double check it though? That's the thing. Like,
the Department of Justice will. So if you motion, specifically the judge overseeing your case, if you motion them to compel them to provide the information, the judge grants the motion.
Wait,
and if they fail to do so, and you believe that they haven't provided it all, you can request the judge to verify that.
Well, what's the invisible
contempt charges go out if they do?
Bro, there's no logic here.
Well, then what's the invisible, red tape that you or the invisible bar that you have to walk over that to clearly describe records being sought? The requester must also submit a reason for the request.
You should have an idea of what you're looking for. If you're looking for a specific incident, you should be able to describe roughly what happened. If you're a civilian, for example, that maybe got hit by a cop. I'm going to give you an example here. Let's say that you're a civilian that maybe got hit by a cop. And you showed up afterwards and you wanted to FOIA.
Nah. See, this is why I don't know why Pred wants to get into these battles. This is fruitless.
Around roughly the time to give them an idea of when to specifically look
This
for the
is fruitless.
That's clear.
This is why.
I should also mention, if it's an active investigation into you, they're actually exempt from FOIA. And the only way you're going to get this information is if you motion them to compel them to provide it to you.
Okay, so my question is, what stops? So you're saying
this is why you got to do it through the official paperwork, man.
To make sure that information is.
Otherwise, it's just a verbal battle.
Then how can I be aware that something's missing with no information to back it up?
Okay.
If you believe that either your request is being denied wrongly or that there's some fuckery afoot, then you can appeal it with the Department of Justice.
Yeah, but I'm always going to inherently think that, especially given the situation that I'm in.
Then appeal it.
Because of the things that I've heard.
Then that's fine. Then appeal it with the Department of Justice.
But then, so to counterpoint though, so let's say someone isn't formally charged. Right, and they're seeking to get information, appropriately through the FOIA. legislation here, follow all of its guidelines.
Mhm.
How do they go about so if they have to describe the information, how do they go about doing that without, raising a red flag on themselves? Let's say charges haven't been pressed. Oh, it's about that gun I bought or the gun I sold. You know what I mean? Like, how exactly do they go about skirting the red tape and the invisible bar?
That's their bar. That's on them to figure it out. Why am I here to facilitate criminals trying to weasel their
Because
way around
inherently
charges?
innocent until proven guilty. It's
Okay,
the
you're right, but
basis
there's
of
no
your job
guilt
as a
that's being
justice.
there's no guilt that's being proven by someone requesting incidents to a potential instance surrounding them. The police already know about this, no? So
Huh.
why would it matter if they requested information about it?
Well, it seems like a lot of times the police don't have all the knowledge, especially given my case where High Command had no idea even what was going on with the case against me, but all the BCSO and marshals seem to be in the know.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
I mean, that doesn't seem like my problem.
But it's an LSPD investigation, so how am I supposed to go to the LSPD and lobby for reports that they don't even know exists when other parties
They do know they exist because
are...
they're on the docket against you.
Yeah, but there's stuff that I'm betting that there's stuff that isn't on the docket against me.
Okay, well, here's what you do. Go to your case, have your lawyer request a motion to compel any potential evidence or reports that are related to this incident, and there will be, if that's granted, they're legally required to do so. I don't know why this is so
Didn't they do
difficult.
that? I think they did
I'm
that.
pretty sure they did.
And did they provide any information in response?
Oh, yeah, I
don't
remember
think-
the response.
Wait, hold
Fred,
on,
I
I don't
believe you
see-
started this conversation by saying over the last 4 months, and you used the case as an example, but your intent is grander than just the case. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I need all the records, yeah.
Yeah. We kind of went through like a rabbit hole, like away from your original point. Yo, I saw Buck. Thank you for the 13
So-
months.
Ultimately, here's the thing. These mass record requests are very difficult to actually logistically complete, which means that if you want one, there must be a damn good reason for it, and you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
They're not simple to do. If your request is, I want everything that has my name attached to it from now into all eternity, then that means that the law enforcement officers are, the MDT doesn't facilitate a search like that. They're going to have to manually search through every single report. Every single one, all 15,000 of them. They're going to have to go through every single one of them and see if your name is listed in it. It's a logistically impossible request to deliver on.
I don't think it is, though. I mean, if you tag the persons involved like you're supposed to, I mean, even I did that. I mean...
Okay, but that's not what's being requested. If you requested every report that has me listed as a witness or an involved person, that could be fulfilled probably in 10 minutes. But that's not what's being requested here.
You're saying that because that the search does not search for the body of the report, the request becomes impossible.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and then what about the subset that does not include where you're talking about my FOIA request?
Well, yours is not the only one that was received like that.
Okay, so why in those cases would there not be a, I don't know, like a request delivered where it's like, here's everything except for where your name may not be tagged but may be in the body due to, like, I don't know, back-end limitations or whatever?
Because the reason this legislation changed, interestingly enough, is actually an exact result of the Department of Justice's uncontested authority on legal and judicial matters. The appeal was sent to a judge who determines that the request was valid, but changes should be made to curtail this abuse. And he then kicked it to us justices who then made the changes. It's actually the system working exactly as it's intended to.
So it's intended to be terrible.
Oh,
no,
interesting.
I'm saying that this came as a result of judicial discretion.
I see. Why do you refer to it as abuse?
Because showing up and just requesting every single record with your name on it is putting way too high of a logistical burden on the random officer that is unfortunate enough to receive that request.
But there's an implication of intent.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. And I think the people have the right to this information as has been enshrined in the Constitution.
Of course.
Someone's rights are not is not an abuse.
I would disagree with that.
Interesting.
Huh?
It's possible to exercise your rights in a way that abuses others, which is why we have to put in guidelines and restrictions around these.
Mm.
Then they can just not do the fucking job as
Listen,
far as I'm
I
looking
think,
at it.
in my opinion, you two are government officials, and so am I. I think that this meeting should be foyable. I think your phones should be foyable. I think every
Agreed.
discussion that you have with your government officials should be foyable.
Yes.
I think that you two should be accountable. All of us should be accountable to write down quite literally every single governmental interaction that we ever have forever, for now and all time. Does that sound reasonable to you?
In fact, we're actually writing up something along those lines.
Okay. Do you understand how logistically impossible that's going to be deliver upon that, Nina?
Well, we can start with phones. Every official government SIM should be registered to somebody and be foyable on request and published maybe on a 30-day basis. I'm okay with meetings being recorded and being published to a document that anyone can listen to. I think that'd be
I'm
quite
fine with it.
interesting. All official conversations. If there's one like in a back room somewhere, it's whatever. But official ones like this,
I don't think
we're
that's
good.
for you to determine if that's official or not. I think if you're having any conversation that's related to your governmental duties, that's official.
Yeah. Yeah, but that doesn't even happen in like the United States.
It actually does, believe it or not. Government officials are required to record their meetings between each other.
Yes.
And they're foyable.
Yes, that is, but not every conversation. If two congressmen are in a corner talking about something, that doesn't get FOIA'd.
Yeah,
You
what
might be
happens when they're,
compelled
like,
to talk
standing
about
at
it.
Yeah, it's like they're walking around. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I haven't seen Senator.
She didn't.
That
She
sounds
changed
like
the
they're having
goalpost.
conversations in an improper manner, in my opinion.
Yeah. Every
I think,
meeting, 100%, I think should be recorded and put out there. But I think we're in a disagreement of is if those officials are having a private conversation, that would obviously not be recorded.
I don't think you should be allowed to have private conversations with a government official.
I gotta be honest with you, Angel. You're not exactly making it easy to try and work with you when every single time it's like the retort is just sarcasm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
because I don't think I
Wait,
genuinely
is it
don't think you
sarcasm?
two- No, I don't. I actually agree with most of what I'm saying. There's an undertone of sarcasm to some of this, but the reason I'm being a little bit like that, Pred, is because I worry that you two don't genuinely think through the implications of what you are requesting and how it's actually going to affect people.
Well, I don't
how
we
think
it's actually
have.
gonna
they,
look
I
in
think the
practice.
opposite can
well,
be
I
said.
don't think that when people sign off on raids exactly, you know, and I don't have really an opportunity to contest a terribly written raid warrant,
You
that I
do.
don't think people view how that affects me.
You can file something on
So
the
is it
docket.
when
I don't
I'm so
understand.
why would I care when other people are affected when nobody cares when I'm affected, Angel?
That's
It's
a
very
really
Ladies and
terrible thing to hear
gentlemen.
from someone whose job is to oversee the people of
No,
Blake
it's just
County and care
because
about them.
I'm
Ladies and
completely okay
gentlemen,
with this.
listen. That's why we have a democracy. Because we're not always going to agree or see eye to eye. And that's okay. So,
I am not
any
a
other
criminal.
topics?
I would like to point out, Brad, that we just had a court case dropped because a warrant was deemed bad. I don't think that it's fair for you to say that it's unappealable and uncontestable. It is. You just don't like the way that the process works.
No, I just feel like the process was just completely skipped.
How is this skipped? They sought out a search warrant. It was signed. Now the charge is on the docket. You've not gone to jail. You're being charged. You have to fight those, and you'll maybe win or you maybe lose.
Well, I'll
That's
light
the
up another
process, no?
cigarette.
Like that's quite fundamentally our process. If something is being accused of you and it's sent to the docket, you now have to fight it.
Yeah, but this particular situation doesn't sit too well with me, as reading the warrant is kind of really irksome as someone who understands the law at least enough to, you know, interpret what is probable cause for arrest and
Then
probable
fight
cause
it in
for
court.
a
If you
raid.
think it's that bad, you should have an easy.
Yeah,
slow-burn
but the thing
case.
is, you've already done the damage. All right,
How have I done damage?
Come on, Angel, listen. You've already done the damage. All
What
right,
damage
if the
have I
damage has
done?
already been done to me, it's been
How
done
have
to
I
my
done
image.
damage? An LSPD have run a court case, and other people are involved in this. The only acknowledgement I've had in this is I was there when the raid was conducted, and I've signed off on some marshal's actions. How is this my fault? Because
Wait,
the
where-
LSPD decided to look into you.
Did you put a statement at all in the documentation that is on Pred's docket?
No, I have not. I don't believe so, at least.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
not many people have put in statements on that document, actually. Kind of strange. A raid on a government official's carried out, and for some reason, the report wasn't the priority. I mean,
Yeah.
a gang shooting, everybody has 24 hours to get their statements in, but the raid of the mayor's community center,
They probably
nobody
thought it
has
was
to
in the
get all
bag,
their-
you know?
yeah, nobody has to get all their statements in. I mean, that's
Okay,
in
that
itself.
sounds like a great angle to take in court. I don't know why you're trying it here with me.
They're just having a conversation.
Yeah, it's just talking.
Okay. It's really not though. You can say it's just talking, but there's always undertones and implications of the things that you two say, and you know it.
Yeah.
No, I
mean,
don't.
I think we all share that in common one way or another. That's what makes these conversations so enjoyable.
Yeah, but unlike us, you're the one that's actually the one doing the shit, Angel. I mean, you
What
can't
have I
be
done,
this
Fred?
god.
Name one thing.
Angel, I can name at least 38.
Do it.
Well, I
All right,
mean,
Angel.
let's start with the FOIA updates that clearly destroy all semblance of freedom to information and turn it into freedom.
Well, I mean, the justice system would disagree with you.
Because the
Well-
justices are in your pocket. You don't have anyone contesting anything. I don't understand how they could all sign off on this collectively.
not in
It
my
doesn't even
pocket.
make sense.
I think Angel is right. This can be fought on the docket, as can some of the arguments that have been made. And I think unless we believe that this conversation is going to be turned from this into something fruitful, I think we're mostly done here, unless there's another topic we want to talk about. Because
Yeah, we need
got
to
some work
discuss
to
the
do.
separation between the LSPD.
Sorry, one second. Nino,
Hey, Mr. Chavez. This is Officer Harper Peters.
can I
Oh,
call you after the meeting? Does that work for you?
How long do you need?
30 minutes
Nino?
should be good.
Sure. I do.
Right. Easy.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
You take
Bye-bye.
care.
We need to discuss how LSPD and the Ellis County Mayor's Office are not the same entity, and the same goes for Blaine County. And I think you two have both forgotten that.
I'm not sure what you're referencing. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
I saw your text messages, and quite frankly, it seems like a bit of a not only an exaggeration, but primarily based on hearsay. So let's perhaps start with that.
It's
'Cause I'm gonna
not
assume
hearsay.
the
Unfortunately,
intent-
I've received a lot of communication from officers who would
Which
be more
is
than happy to
hearsay.
testify in court.
Wait 1 second.
Right.
Who would be more than happy to testify in
Warlord
court
Kyle
to
Fred of the mayor of
direct
the Blaine County. How may I
conversations that
help
have been
you?
taking place. In addition to direct
Hmm.
Oh,
observation.
I'll call you back. I'm in an important meeting.
Sorry,
That the Ellis County Mayor's Office.
could
is
you stop
interfering
from the
with LSPD's
beginning?
duties.
Fred was on the phone, so
It was
missed half of
important.
what
It
you
was my
said.
treasurer.
had
oh,
plenty
she's
of
around.
Okay. I've had plenty of conversations with plenty of officers in LSPD and BCSO who have witnessed and are can provide direct testimony
That I've
to
threatened
concerning
Daisy.
conversations
job.
that have some very concerning implications about how you don't seem to give a shit about how the Constitution says the LSPD is its own independent agency, and
That's
you're
not
only
what it
responsible
says.
for putting the chief in place. It is. It says the Los Angeles County, the Los Angeles Police Department is responsible for public services. You are responsible for the laws, and those two do not intersect.
All right. So this comes down to interpretation, and I will go
Right,
ahead.
that's correct.
and-
And,
and-
who interprets that again?
Yeah, let's go ahead and read this. Los Santos County shall have legislative authority over its jurisdiction and be responsible for the governance, public services, and local laws that pertain to the residents and operations within Santos. The Los Santos County Mayor is responsible for the governance of Los Santos's laws, and the Los Santos Police Department is responsible for the county's public services.
That's correct.
The
You're not
sheriff
responsible for the
of
LSPD.
Police shall be appointed by the Los Santos County Mayor. And I believe ipso facto, governance, public services, who is the mayor of Los Santos County, everything's rather
Yeah, what
self-explanatory.
defines a
It-
public service
right.
as well?
So again, the LSPD is responsible for the public services, and you're responsible for the laws. You are not responsible for them.
That's your interpretation.
Yeah,
That's correct. It is my interpretation.
and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So,
I feel as though
any other matters we want to discuss?
I feel like ultimately this conversation is meaningless. You two are dead set in your ways. You're gonna do what you do. I
Yeah.
dread the day that we're gonna have this conversation where we come up with whatever farcical, terrible system you two want to put in place, and I am really, really terrified for the future of the state.
our systems couldn't be any worse than hers, if I'm being honest.
Our systems are democratic. All right.
So I just don't think she likes how just